Good afternoon. Welcome to DuPont Registry Tampa Bay's Tampa Bay Talks. We are here on a rainy-ish Tuesday afternoon with Amy Hollington from Big Brothers Big Sisters, and are excited to be able to bring to you some of what's going on, what's trying to go on in this virtual event world, and what we all need to know and can do to support you and your team at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So why don't you first just let our viewers know what you do. I know what you do, but it's better coming from you.
Sure. Well, happy to be here on a rainy afternoon, Molly, and thank you so much for DuPont Registry and all that you do to help support our community. But we are the nation's premier mentoring organization, and I work directly for Big Brothers Big Sisters serving Tampa Bay. Right now, that's 9 counties across our Bay Area and close to 3,000 children annually, with a pairing kids with a caring adult mentor to help make a positive influence in their life.
And during this time of quarantine and isolation, how has it gone? Have they been able to meet with their bigs at all?
I like to say we were on the forefront of the virtual transition. All of our staff worked to go remote and work from home, and we also encouraged all of our matches to meet virtually only in the early days of the pandemic. We also I'm rocking my branded Big Brothers Big Sisters mask, and we got some grants to be able to provide these masks for all of our matches. So we said, as soon as you're ready to get together in person again, we want you to feel comfortable to do so and have your Big Brothers Big Sisters mask. So we did send those out to our matches as well. But again, in this virtual world, we are thrilled that we've been able to maintain all of our operations in a virtual world. Again, our staff are working from home, and that means we are recruiting volunteer mentors, we are training them, and then we are supervising those matches all virtually. So that's been quite the transition for our staff and, frankly, for our matches.
Right.
We've had some great videos, as many of us have now become adept at Zoom and House Party app and lots of ways to stay connected. We know that's so important right now, is to stay connected with one another. And so providing some virtual match activities. One of the early activities we did was encourage our matches to get together and to create some art and to send some thank yous for our frontline healthcare workers, especially in those early days.
Great lesson, great thing to do.
Absolutely. And I love the story. We actually have a few matches who don't have the tools to be able to stay connected virtually, electronically, digitally, I guess. And so they've gone old school, and they're doing pen pal relationships via email, letter writing, and even postcard sending to each other. So again, keeping kids connected is why we do what we do.
You know, on the pen pals, our boys did a couple, and I have 2 that are in assisted living facilities that I've written to, and it's kind of amazing. What I've done is, just grab a card and then print out photos, because what else can I do? But my kids are like shocked, like, where did you get pictures printed? And how do you know how many stamps it takes? I'm like, it takes a couple extras if you send extra stuff in it. But it is interesting to see, when people didn't connect digitally, how these letter writing campaigns have been so special to so many people. And it's like we missed the obvious. I think that's one of those silver linings of the pandemic, that people are writing to each other. Is there a big difference between a non-pandemic time and now in the number of mentors available?
That's a great question, and the short answer is we are struggling a little bit more with recruitment right now, just due to a number of factors, and so many people have different challenges in their lives, whether how to volunteer right now. But we've made our process entire virtual. So the training is all online, and the recruitment, and we're finding, because people have some free time now, as we are traveling less and less in the world to keep us entertained and engaged, we're actually finding several people say, I would love to be a mentor. Now's the perfect time for me to make an impact, not maybe in a senior's life, like you have, Molly, but also with our kids.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm thinking right now of like one person that I'm going to call after this, and I'm like, you won't have to go to any place to do this, but you will make such a big difference to someone being able to connect with them, whether it's writing letters or, and I also think sort of the surprise of like the online part of getting to know each other, and then eventually we know we're all going to see each other again, and that would be so interesting to see how those relationships develop over that time. I think it's great too, you sort of know off the top of your head, like, oh, so and so, they went to Florida or Florida State, or so and so, he's an Eagle Scout. But I do know that there are people that say, so and so, he's got a little brother. Or, they're involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters. She's had a little sister for the longest time and brought her, remember you met her there, whatever. So I hope that it helps people realize now that the virtual option is kind of an advantage if you don't have a lot of time.
Well, and typically our program is as little as 1 hour a week when you would go to a child's school or one of our partner sites. And then the more traditional program is the community-based program. It's about 9 hours a month, but it's more flexible. And so it could be, in the past, I would say it could be Tuesday night at a Rays game or a Sunday trip to the library. And now, again, we have been able to provide some flexibility, again, with the timing and the scheduling. But we have folks who, like I said, with the House Party app, have had a great time tuning in, even for 10-minute increments here and there, just to check in and say, how are you doing today? And what's going on? And it's a rainy day. What kind of things can we do inside to focus on school and to learn and grow? They say during the pandemic, every one of us should have some kind of skill that we've learned or new experiences. It's an opportunity for us to expose ourselves to different opportunities there, and that's what our program's about. It's about showing kids what's possible. And our tagline of defending kids' potential is really why we do what we do. And when you think about that, every child has an incredible potential. And we as a team are just working to help make sure that every child has that opportunity to reach that.
And what about, how old do you have to be a big?
Technically 18. So that, and up to 118. We don't have an age limit. We have some amazing mentors who are seniors. I think about, there's a great Big Little match, and they have a lot of fun out in the community when people ask how they, will assume that maybe one's the grandfather, and they'll say, no, this is my little brother. That's my big brother. And they love sharing with people their connection through our program and a non-traditional but incredibly important friendship and relationship.
Yeah, that's really neat. And to see that people could do it at any age. Like, there's sort of no excuses. There's no excuses.
Absolutely.
So we, at the magazine, we've been talking a lot lately. On the back, we usually do pictures from events. And so the last couple of issues, we've pulled together different things that we've seen our community members participating in. We've had, like, a blood drive, and we have coming up some kids that have made these cool things that hold your mask, and a lot of golf tournaments, because nonprofits are still able to do that in a pretty typical manner. But I, for one, have just been to one virtual event, and I was really impressed with how it went and that it was such a fun night. We posted a picture of ourselves, and we were like, we are in a cohort. Don't worry, we're not at a party. Because I guess it looks like we were at a big party. But tell me about what you're doing to shift your plans from physically event-based to virtual.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned, our match events right now are virtual, but our fundraising events are so critical to everything we do. It costs about $1,500 to make and maintain a match for 1 year. And while that sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, it's a drop in the bucket for helping to ensure the success of a child in the future. And so our fundraising events in the past have been so critical for us to raise those funds. But we are finding an opportunity to pivot. We have done a few outside events. We did a bass fishing tournament in Polk County.
That's good.
That was great. And again, you only have 2 people per boat, and it's outdoor.
Right.
So that was actually hugely successful, and hosted by actually one of our board members' husband is a professional bass fisherman. And so again, he said,
Awesome.
this is something that I can do. This is something of my talent that I can share with others. Last year we actually had the matches come out and learn to fish, but this year it was a little close to the pandemic start, and so we decided that we would just focus on the competitive fishing tournament this year. But we have had a golf tournament, and most recently, actually last weekend, we hosted our annual Over the Edge event, which is rappelling down the side of the Hilton.
Okay, that's enough.
And one year I'm going to get you to come and join us.
I'm never doing that.
It was fantastic, and again,
I was really proud of you and happy for you.
Did you see my video?
I'm so not good at heights.
It's an opportunity to challenge yourself and to push yourself. We wore GoPro, my friend and I went, and we wore GoPro cameras so we could film each other, and so we could share the experience with others to say, see, you could do this too.
How many stories was the building?
So it's the downtown Hilton is 17 stories, about 170 feet. And once you get past the first 3 stories where you're walking down the side of the building, then it's kind of a free rappel, and that's a little easier, I think, mentally.
But how hard
you don't
want
to touch the building. It's a challenge, but there's an incredible team from a professional organization that runs this with a 100% safety record. That's the important thing to share.
Okay.
And so their incredible team coaches you through the whole experience. But for those of us, and like my friend who went with me, she said, of course I want to push myself. Raise $1,500 to, again, support one child in our program each year. And to have that bucket list opportunity to rappel down the side of the building, she said, I felt good about pushing myself, and I felt good about supporting a child at the same time. So
okay.
Yes, so I think you would absolutely.
I just think the first step. I just did the scary kayaking thing that wasn't even peer pressure from my children, but from my sisters, that we went down like a wooden ramp, but you're sitting in the kayak and you're sitting at the top of the thing, and the nice person who's helping you pushes you out just far enough, like I think it's called a fulcrum. I was
just
not good
before
at physics.
you.
And you have to lean forward, and then when you go down, you land in the lake. And the only hard part is once you land, a wave comes after you, and so you have to be ready to keep your balance. So a woman went a couple times before I did, and she flipped, and I was like, I can't do it. I'm not going underwater. But I did it, and it was awesome. But it's just the first, that's why that's saying the first step is the hardest part.
Right.
It truly is the hardest part to. But you did it.
Yes, I did it.
And you each raised $1,500.
Yes. And that day we had about 60 people rappel with us. So we raised over $90,000.
That is amazing.
Which is incredible. And again, everything we do is about having the funds to serve more kids. On average, we have about 600 kids waiting for a big brother, big sister mentor. So all it takes are the volunteers to join us, and then those funds to help support those matches. And that covers everything from their background check, the ongoing support from our trained staff. Most of the kids in our program are facing some type of adversity. And so depending what that is, there are different challenges, but our team provides that support of ongoing resources for everything from bullying to how to deal with a parent who's deployed, loss and grief. We had a program that focused on kids who've experienced or witnessed domestic violence. So again, trying to reach kids who have the greatest of potential, but give them every tool possible to reach their success.
What about this kind of question? What if someone is a chef and they don't think they have time, or maybe they don't have the desire to be responsible in that typical way? Are there opportunities for people to say, hey, I'm a chef, I could teach a cooking lesson, or hey, I'm an accountant. Our 12-year-old is taking a personal finance class. I don't even know how I got signed up for it, but I'm glad he's teaching me things. But their class is obsessed with the stock market and trying to figure out, and they have a little bit of money in there. I want to say they're betting, but he tells me that's not what it's called. They're investing. But if someone has a trade, like I said, our beauty and fashion editor, like is there an opportunity to meet with people about grooming or etiquette, or why I went to medical school if someone wants to do that? Like, are there those kinds of chances for people to be a presenter?
Yes, and so immediately what comes to mind is the thought that that makes a great virtual activity for some of our matches to learn more about different professions, what skills are needed to reach that professional success and occupation. But it's also an opportunity for in-kind support. As you talked about virtual events, it's a great segue to our virtual gala coming up September 12th. It's going to be presented on Facebook Live on our main Big Brothers Big Sisters page. And that same live stream feed is going to be on our main website, so those without social media can tune in and see the program.
Great plan.
And so that's our main website again is www.bbbstampabay.org/gala. And again, that is a live stream feed where you don't have to be on camera yourself. You can tune in from your living room in your pajamas if you want to. We're going to have a 1-hour program where we're going to show you all the highlights of our virtual transition here during the pandemic. We're going to honor our bigs of the year. We have some amazing Big Brother and Big Sister volunteers who are making a fantastic impact, and they actually both have little brothers. It's rare that we pair a big sister with a little brother, but we do have that opportunity, partly because we have so many boys waiting for a positive role model in our community.
It's obviously getting more important by the day.
Yes, we will have our fun silent auction available on our website, and we'll inspire people with some incredible stories where we'll ask them to give. Again, it's our largest annual fundraiser, and we need to give people an opportunity to invest more in our programs and kids in our community. So my segue from your chef question is one of our exciting auction items that we're going to feature live on our broadcast is provided by Chef Jeff Philbin, who is an alumni from Master Chef. He was, I believe he was number 5, fifth contestant. 5th place, rather, on Master Chef. And not only is Jeff lending us his talents to host a dinner that for 12 that's going to be customized, a 5-course dinner and wine pairing, but he also is an alumni Big Brother in our program.
Great.
So that's a great connection. And the package is actually sponsored by a board member, Nick Voinovich, who is with Little Greek Fresh Grill, and he also is a Big Brother in our program. And so the two of them said, what can we do to help make an impact? Let's donate our services and support to create a unique auction package to raise the funds to help support more matches.
Well, and that is, you can count on certain people on my team and in my family that love nothing better than to sit at an online auction and bid on stuff. I love it. So we will be participating that way safely from home and socially distanced and all the things we need to do so we can all keep going. But how do you think you did as far as attracting support and sponsors? And what can people do now? So I know there was for an individual ticket, you just have to register, right?
Yes. So we want
to make a donation. She might not say it that way, but honestly, if you register for free, then you have to buy a big auction item or make a donation or both.
I love that you said that. Thank you, Molly. You're definitely working for us. I love it. But yes, we wanted to make sure that our program is going to be inspiring. We're going to share some incredible work that we're doing through this pandemic and the impacts we're making on kids. And we want to share that message with as many people as possible. So it is free to tune in on Facebook Live or on our main website, again, on that YouTube live stream. But we are encouraging everybody to support us through a financial donation as well. It's a fun opportunity for us to raise the critical funds that we need. And while we've had some incredible sponsors who just said, Amy, we are investing in the programs, and of course we want to invest in the program, whatever it looks like. So I want to give a big shout out to our presenting sponsor, the Tampa Bay Rays and Rowdies, who have just been incredible supporters of not only Big Brothers Big Sisters, but our entire Tampa Bay community, as well as Flowbird, Publix Charities, who again do so many things everywhere, and our friends at Ultimate Medical Academy. We And in addition to some of our corporate sponsors, we've had people who said, what can we do to help inspire others to give? So just this morning, I'm excited to announce hot off the presses for DuPont Registry's news first. Our friends at Valley Bank said, we'd like to make an investment, but we'd like to utilize it as matching funds and see if we can inspire others to give in honor. So again, thank you to Valley Bank
too,
for doing that.
So we're super proud. Do you see there's one right there across
Yeah,
the street?
I saw them right across the street. They're your neighbors as well.
Yes.
So we've
Amazing.
found so many people who said, of course, we'd love to continue to invest and give, but frankly, we have some incredible long-term supporters who you would think are in successful businesses doing well. And while we know that everyone is facing this challenge together, the pandemic, the community unrest, the challenge in our country and in our world today, we are all facing it to different degrees. So being thoughtful of how we can work with each individual and how best to support us. But we've had a number of regular supporters who said, we just cannot. Our company has a moratorium on sponsorship and support, but we'll see if we can get our employees to tune in. And again, to be and inspired and engaged. Hopefully they make a donation, or maybe they say, wow, I have the time. I'd love to make a big impact as a mentor as well, and I'm going to sign up to do that today as well. So getting the word out and getting people to tune in is one of our important opportunities to engage people to hear the message.
And I do, on a different note, keep saying to people as they're trying to come up with a plan. I listened to a great guest speaker over the weekend about, you know, the emergency funds got so much initial support when everyone first wrote to all of their supporters and said, like, we're shut down or we're having to go virtual, but we need money. It came pretty easily at the beginning, but now as everyone gets fatigued here and we don't know exactly what's going to happen next, people are a little bit more hesitant. But just for you and I, having planned so many events, isn't it great to not assign tables?
It is.
In a way.
It is, yes.
I mean, we miss seeing people and having the excitement of that. But some of the details in planning an event are very different now that it's virtual.
And that's one of the things our team, we were still hoping to have a small in-person event a few months ago. And when we did make the decision to go all virtual, we said, our team was quick to remind everyone that that doesn't mean there's less work. It's just different work. And in fact, it's maybe more work because everything is adjustable and each day things are changing. And so having the opportunity to really have a plan A, B, and C is important. But the whole reason we decided to continue with this campaign is that it's going to help us to sustain ourselves for this coming year and the next as well.
And I know I've been fortunate to be at your gala before and to see, you know, all of the faces and the people and the connections that they have with each other. And so this is really a great opportunity for everyone to be able to see it. You don't have to be in the room this year to see it, but it will be heartwarming. It will be a lot of laughs and a lot of tears, I'm sure, as it has been in the past. And we will be watching, as I've been saying, you know, Danny jumped in the whole video last week. So some of you have seen the magic behind our camera, actually in front of our camera. But Danny will make sure that all the links are on there so that people can register and donate and follow the auction and look at ideas of how else they can support you. And I hope that everyone who's watching / listening today thinks of one person that they could call up and say, you know, and we have a lot of people I've come across that are lonely right now and feeling very disconnected, and just to reach out to a friend and say, this might be your chance to do this. Is it an annual commitment, or what's recommended for how, I mean, I know people have stayed a lifetime, so that's the goal, right?
We ask all of our bigs to make a commitment of at least 1 year, because the positive effects with our kids are more long lasting when you've been able to form that bond that happens and that trust level that happens over about a year. And two of our favorite metrics I love to share is the kids that are referred to our program are all deemed facing some level of adversity. About 90% receive free or reduced lunch as one of our metrics. But of the kids that are referred to our program and stay with us for at least a year, 99% were promoted to the next grade level, and 97% had no involvement with the juvenile justice system last year. So those are two of my favorite metrics. But of course, our kids have greater self-esteem, less likelihood to get involved with drugs and alcohol, more respect for authority. And what we find is as that bond has formed between that big and little, many of them stay together for years. So our bigs of the year actually are celebrating, I believe, 4 years and 6 years respectively together, because they have found that they just enjoy being together. And the bigs say, wow, I thought I was doing this for the impact on the little, but I'm getting so much out of it myself.
So awesome when that happens, and we're so glad that you came with us today. And I don't think the rain cut in too much. Now we know, close to the door, it's very rainy over here. But anyway, again, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see that you like and share this video, and that you continue to help support our community, and particularly tune in to Big Brothers Big Sisters next Saturday night. So it's the Saturday after Labor Day, on the 12th. Thank you so much.